Buying a house is likely going to be the biggest purchase of your life. It's no news that the process of buying a house is very expensive. From saving for the deposit and saving for all other costs associated with buying a house, it's definitely not a walk in the park. It requires a lot of financial commitment from you. What if I told you there are ways to boost your savings towards your deposit faster so you can get on the property ladder and actualize that dream of having your dream property in the UK? So hi guys, welcome back to this video. My name is Chidera. If this is your first time here, I talk on personal finances, money and life in the UK. So make sure to hit the subscribe button just so you stay up to date on new content as I post them. In this video, I'm going to be sharing 3 simple ways to boost your deposit savings as a first-time buyer in the UK and especially as someone who is on a visa. The very first way to boost your deposit is to make use of new build schemes. Okay, so there are certain property developers that offer schemes to help contribute towards your deposit. Some do a 5% deposit contribution, some also do a deposit unlock. So with a 5% deposit contribution, what that means is if you have 5% deposit, they're also going to contribute 5% towards your deposit so that you can now have 10% towards buying the house, and then in turn you get better mortgage rate. So the interest rate you get on your mortgage will be slightly better because you have a huge chunk of deposit. Another one that some developers do is that they let you get on the property with just 5% deposit. And apart from the deposit unlock, there are also several other incentives which developers offer. But like I always say, if you don't ask, you're likely not going to know. So ensure to ask them what schemes they have and what ways can they help you get on the property ladder faster. So to make it more practical, imagine you wanted to buy a house of £300,000 and the deposit is 30,000, meaning 10%. But looking at your savings, for you to save £30,000 is likely going to take you 3 years. But if you go with a developer that has a 5% deposit scheme, it means all you have to save is 5%, and 5% of that is 15,000, and then you realize, okay, you can save for that within a year and a couple months. So you save the 5%, you go to the developer, you say, oh, you want to buy this property, you've got 5%, they have the 5% deposit scheme. So they add to your deposit and then you now have 10% and you're able to put 10% towards the property and get like mortgage deals for a 90% LTV value. So you see how that works and how this is going to help with your deposit. So make sure to ask around and always inquire about this. The second way to boost your deposit fast is to use a lifetime ISA. So lifetime ISA is a type of individual savings accounts that allow you to save for your first home in the UK as a first-time buyer. And yes, even if you're on a visa, you can open a lifetime ISA, and no, it does not count as public funds, okay? So the interest you're going to get in this account, it does not count as public funds. So if you're on a visa, you can use the money in a ISA to buy a house without any repercussions. So essentially, a lifetime ISA, it's an account where you can save up to £4,000 every tax year. So you know the tax year in the UK runs from April to April. So between April and April of the next year, you can put £4,000 into this account, and then you get 25% bonus from the government. This 25% bonus works out to £1,000. So for every £4,000 you have every year, you're going to get £1,000 on top of that. However, there are certain drawbacks to this account. There's no free lunch anywhere, okay? So you need to be fully aware of the limitations. The first is before you can withdraw the money from that account to buy a house, you must have had the account open for 12 months. What I typically say, which is not advice, it's just guidance. What I typically say is if you know you're going to use a lifetime ISA at some point, you can just open it now and just put like £5 in it. So it's already counting that it's open. All right. You have to have the account open for at least 12 months before you withdraw out of it to buy a house. Another thing is that if you're over the age of 40, you cannot open a lifetime ISA. So you have to, if you want to open one, you can't be more than the age of 40. Another thing is the house you want to buy with the money in this account must not be more than £450,000. If the house is more than £450,000, sadly, you cannot use the money in your lifetime ISA to purchase that property. Another drawback is you can only withdraw this money to buy a house, or you can leave the money there for retirement, which you take out when you retire. But if you decide to withdraw it for any other reasons apart from buying a house or for retirement, you'll be hit with a 25% penalty charge. What this means essentially is you're gonna get out less money than you actually put into the account. All right, so it's worth thinking about it and being very sure that the money you're putting in this account, you're gonna use it to buy a house. And in terms of where to open a lifetime ISA, most high street banks will tell you that they can't offer you that account, but you can open with certain online financial apps. I know one very popular one, and one that I also used was Moneybox. So on Moneybox, you can open a lifetime ISA and put money into it. Another thing I think a lot of people don't realize when using a lifetime ISA is that when it's time for you to withdraw money out of the account to buy the house, that money is not going to be paid to you. You're going to supply your solicitor's bank account, and that's where that money from the LISA will be paid into, because they know that money is going to be for a house. But if you want to withdraw it to yourself, you're going to be hit with a 25% penalty charge, if that makes sense. Another important limitations about the lifetime ISA is that it has to be, you can only use a lifetime ISA for your first property. So you have to be a first-time buyer. You can't be a second-time buyer, a third-time buyer. It has to be your first property, and that property has to be a residential property. You cannot use it for a property that you want to rent out. So not a buy-to-let, a property that you're actually gonna live in. So this is the second way to boost your savings. Another good thing is so for example, I know with Moneybox and some other apps like Save with Tembo, I'm going to put it, I think, apart from the bonus you get from the government, they also give you interest rates on the lifetime ISA accounts. So apart from the money from the government, you're also going to be earning interest on top of your money in those accounts. Now this brings me to the third way to boost your deposit for your house, is to use a high yield savings account, also known as a high interest savings account. So if you don't know what this is, it's essentially a savings account that gives you better interest rates than your traditional savings account. So what I mean by that is, if for example you have a savings account with Barclays or a savings account with Lloyds, the chances are the interest rate you're getting is not the best that you can get on the market. More often than not, the online banks tend to give better interest rates when it comes to savings accounts. So if you have a huge chunk of savings, it's in your best interest, right, to put that huge chunk of savings in an account that is going to be earning money for you passively. So for example, from some of my high interest savings accounts, I get up to 50-80 pounds a month for doing nothing, literally, and that adds up, that compounds. So that means at the end of the year I could even have like 500 pounds on top of my money, or even up to 1,000 that I did not lift a finger to do. So using a high interest savings account is one way to go about it. However, with a high interest savings account, you are subject to tax. So you're going to be taxed on the interest there. So if you're a basic rate payer, meaning you earn less than £50,000, you have up to £1,000 free on interest that you don't have to pay taxes on. But if you're a higher rate payer, meaning you earn more than £50,000, you can only get £500 tax-free interest. After £500 that you earn on interest, you're gonna have to pay tax on that. But one good way to avoid these taxes is to consider using a cash ISA. So cash ISA is also a type of individual savings account. So after you're done using a lifetime ISA, I think the next best bet actually is the cash ISA before your high yield savings, because your cash ISA, you don't pay tax on the interest that you gather in those accounts. So cash ISA, what is a type of savings account. Literally, it's just a savings account but without tax implications. So you put money into this account and you get interest on it. There are certain cash ISAs that I know currently that are up to like 5% right now. Click the link in the description box. I currently use cash ISA on Plum and they offer up to 5% interest at the moment. Click the link below to click my link and then create a cash ISA if you want to use that. With a cash ISA, you can withdraw your money anytime. There's no limitation with the cash ISA. It's literally just like a savings account. You can take your money out when you want to, and you can save as much as you want into the account, up to £20,000 every year. So just to make it a bit more practical, every tax year you get £20,000 that you can put into an individual savings account. Now, individual savings account, there are different types. There's cash ISA, lifetime ISA, stocks and shares ISA. Okay, so if I now put £4,000 into my lifetime ISA, it means I have £16,000 left for the year to put in other ISA accounts. So if I have 16,000, I can put that whole 16,000 into my cash ISA to save towards my house, or I can decide to put some into investing, but I'm not talking about investing in this video, so I'm keeping that out. Do you get it? So in total, you have £20,000 to put in an ISA account, and you put 4,000 into a lifetime ISA, and then you put the rest into a cash ISA, so your money can earn money without you having to pay tax on on it. I hope this makes sense. Just to recap, the first is to consider incentives, deposit schemes. The second next best is to use a lifetime ISA, and then after that you want to look into a cash ISA, and after a cash ISA you want to look into using high yield savings accounts. But with a cash ISA, just ensure that the interest rate you're getting is a good one. Like I said, link in the description box for a cash ISA. I know that it's currently 5%. Link in the description box below. All right guys, so I hope this helps. I know I said 3 ways to boost your savings, but I actually give you 4 ways. So I hope this helps. Let me know what you think. If you have any questions, leave it down in the comments below. And if you're in the process of buying a house, I have a first time buyers toolkit which contains questions to ask, checklist, calculations to help you determine how long it will take you to save, and a couple other useful tools and resources. Link in the description box below. I also have a first time buyers masterclass that will walk you through the full process of buying a house, A to Z, every single thing you need to know, including my best tips and best practices for buying your first property. Once again, link in the description box below. I also have other free guides and free resources for your first time buyer journey that you can access on the link in the description box below. All right guys, till next time, thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.